Hello students, let us start this video lecture of module 5, that is types of batteries. So in this lecture we will study about the types of batteries. First start with the cells. A cell is the single unit, and when we combine many cells it becomes a battery. So the primary classification of batteries is primary cell and secondary cell, or a secondary battery. A primary battery is one which can be only used once after manufacturing. After that, it has to be discarded. We have studied in 10th and 12th level chemistry about these cells like galvanic cell, Leclanché cell, Daniell cell. We have studied them. In this course, we will be concentrating on the secondary cells or the rechargeable batteries. In this course, we will study the four secondary batteries. First is the lead acid battery or the lead acid accumulator. Next is the nickel cadmium, lithium ion batteries. Lithium ion is the most popular today because all of our mobiles, tablets, etc. are powered by lithium ion batteries. Next is the nickel metal hydride batteries. So this is the exploded view of a lead acid battery. This is the leak proof case in which the plates of the battery made of lead are placed and the electrolyte here is used, which is dilute sulfuric acid. So here's a brief history. It was the first rechargeable battery that was made in 1859 by a French physicist. Let us look at the equations, the chemical equations. At the negative plate, that is the anode, the lead reacts with HSO4 ion to create lead sulfate. This lead sulfate is spongy in character, in texture. That is why it is also called spongy lead. Plus, it gives an H plus ion, that is a proton. Remember, this is not a hydrogen gas. It is the ionic form of hydrogen and it remains in the aqueous solution as ion, and it liberates 2 electrons at the anode. At the cathode, the lead oxide reacts with HSO4 minus and 3 H plus ions plus the 2 electrons that it receives from the outer circuit, that is the electron which has flown through the battery to the load, electrical load, and back to the battery. It utilizes these 2 electrons to create again lead sulfate, that is spongy lead, and water. And the two equations can be combined like this, and the EMF given is approximately 2.05 volt or 2 volt. Here is a representation of fully discharged lead acid accumulator. Both the anode and the cathode become lead sulfate and the electrolyte, that is the sulfuric acid, becomes very much diluted. These reactions at the positive plate and the negative plate are reversible reactions, and after the battery is charged, fully charged, the cathode or the positive terminal becomes lead oxide and the negative terminal or the negative plate of the battery, that is the anode, gets converted to lead, and the concentration of the sulfuric acid increases in the electrolyte when we recharge the battery. The nominal voltage for lead acid single cell is 2 volt. Next is nickel cadmium battery. It was first made in Sweden in 1899. We can see the construction over here. the anode is made from cadmium and the cathode is made from nickel oxyhydroxide. The electrolyte used is potassium hydroxide. So we will quickly go through the chemical reaction. Cadmium captures two hydroxyl ions to create calcium hydroxide and liberates two electrons. These two electrons are used at the cathode. The nickel oxyhydroxide reacts with water to create nickel hydroxide, liberating two hydroxyl ions that is utilized in the anode. So the net reaction, that is the sum of these two reactions, can be written like this. This equation gives us a nominal voltage of 1.2 volt. Next is the lithium ion battery. It was the first prototype of lithium ion battery was developed in 1985. So the lithium ion battery has both the anode and cathode made of lithium oxide, and there are variety of electrolytes that are used. At the cathode, the cobalt oxide reacts with the lithium ion and the electron to give a compound lithium cobalt oxide. This is a reversible reaction like charging and discharging. At the negative electrode, that is the anode, we get lithium carbide that gets converted to C6. This is carbon or this is graphite. This is graphite and it creates lithium ions and one electron. The overall equation can be summed up like this. This reaction, chemical reaction, liberates approximately about 3.6 volts. Depending upon the electrolyte used, it can vary from 3.6 volt to 3.85 volt. So for various lithium substrates, the nominal voltage can be from 3.6 volt to 3.85 volts. Next is nickel metal hydride batteries. Now many people have done research on NIMH battery, but the patent still lies with Daimler Benz. This is the joint venture of two companies, and the latest research on this battery was done back in 2015 by a German chemical company BASF, which made this battery light in weight and durable. So this is the cross section view or a cut section view of a nickel metal hydride battery. We'll go to the chemical equation. So the anode reaction is like this. The water in the electrolyte, that is aqueous solution of nickel hydroxide. The water from this electrolyte reacts with the M. M here is an intermetallic compound. It is written in the footer that M is an intermetallic compound. It can be of two types, AB5 and AB2, where A is the rare earth mixture like lanthanum, neodymium, etc., and B is nickel, cobalt, or manganese. And in AB2 type compounds, A is titanium or vanadium, and B is zirconium or nickel, etc. So, coming back to the chemical equation, the water reacts with the intermetallic compound M, and it captures one electron to form a metal hydride. This MH is metal hydride. and liberates one hydroxyl ion. This hydroxyl ion at the cathode reacts with the nickel oxide hydroxide, the nickel hydroxide. It reacts with this and it forms nickel oxide hydroxide and gives out one molecule of water and one electron. And the nominal voltage for this type of battery is 2 volt. So this is the summary of all the batteries that we have studied: lead acid, nickel cadmium, lithium ion and nickel metal hydride. Here we can see what materials are used in the anode, cathode and what are the electrolytes. In the lithium ion, many types of electrolytes are used, and that is why the nominal voltage varies from 3.6 to 3.85 volt. Now we come to the most important point, that is the battery characteristics. First is the charging characteristic and then is the discharging characteristic. Coming to the charging characteristic, we are taking 2 points, that is 100% voltage, that is the full rated capacity of the battery, and the 10% mark. We usually avoid this section of the graph because once the battery is discharged below this 10% mark, it is called a dead battery and it cannot be recharged. That is why some of the consumer electronics automatically switch off when the voltage of the battery goes below 10% to preserve this amount of power or the chemical energy so that the battery can be recharged again. So we start with the 10% mark. Now we are charging the battery. Therefore the charging current is very small for this section. This is the linear variation. Once the voltage starts to increase above, say, about 40% mark, the charging current increases and becomes constant up to a point where the voltage graph first hits the 100% mark. After that, the charging current required to maintain the battery voltage to 100% is very small. It goes to approximately 0. Only a small amount of current is required to maintain this voltage 100% mark, because we have all seen that just when we disconnect the charger, the voltage comes back to, suppose, say 99.5%. So to maintain this 0.5%, we require a trickle charge. This charging current is called a trickle charge current, and this charging current is very small to maintain the battery voltage to 100%. Next is the discharging characteristic. So here we are using 2 marks, that is 100% mark and 90% mark. Once we start to use the battery and the battery gets drained, the initial fall of voltage is very high. The rate of change of voltage is very high to 90%. After that, it follows a linear pattern and it discharges linearly. So the linear section is from this point to this point. On the x-axis, we have taken 100% charged battery, and the last point here is 0%. That is, the battery backup has become 0. We have talked about nominal voltage. So nominal voltage is the midpoint of this linear section of the graph, and this voltage is called the nominal voltage for the battery. Now we can see that once the battery is nearing its end capacity, the rate of discharge is very high. The voltage drops very quickly. We have always seen in our mobiles that once the battery is has gone down to 15%, it quickly discharges, and at approximately 3% the mobile automatically shuts down. So this is the discharging characteristics of the battery. Now we come to the battery ratings. The most important rating is the primary rating or the ampere hour rating. It is given for all batteries, and for very small batteries the rating is milliampere hour or the mAh rating. For larger rated batteries, we have AH rating, and for small batteries we have mAh rating. Now there are some secondary ratings also defined for 12-volt batteries, that is reserve capacity, cold rating, and cold cranking ampere rating. We'll take up the primary rating. So the definition is the ability to deliver current continuously for 20 hours at 27 degrees centigrade. Here in the example, if we have a 100 ampere hour battery, we have a 100 ampere hour battery. So if we are drawing 1 ampere current from this battery, it will last for 100 hours. And if we draw 2 ampere, remember that the ampere and the hour rating should be equal to 100 ampere hour, so it will last for 50 hours. So this is the ampere hour rating for a battery. Next is the reserve capacity. It is given for large batteries of 12 volts, usually used in the ignition system of trucks and cars. So it gives the full charge number of minutes. A fully charged battery at 27 degree will discharge 25 ampere until the battery voltage drops to 10.5 volts. It is particularly important in car ignitions. Next is the cold rating. It is also related to car ignitions and other, suppose we are using batteries for starting the generators in cold environment. So it is the cold rating is the number of minutes that a 12-volt battery, these ratings are given for 12-volt battery, can deliver 300 ampere at minus 18 degrees centigrade. Next is the cold cranking ampere rating. So the CCA rating is defined for cold temperatures to start an engine. So it refers number of amperes. This is the number of amperes a 12-volt battery can deliver at minus 18 degrees centigrade for 30 seconds while maintaining a voltage of at least 7.2 volts. So this was all about the types of batteries and its ratings. In the next lecture, we will do some numericals of batteries. Thank you.